Last week I met with George McCoy at the Taziki's, and he had a friend with him named Sharon Amar. And I enjoyed talking with him so much, I decided to just bring him in and continue the discussion. He owns the SF. I guess it's an extended stay there at the old Econo Lodge. It's got a lot of remodeling lately. Anyway, we're going to unpack it and we're going to enjoy this discussion. So, Sharon, is that a Jewish name?
It's a very Jewish name. It's an Israeli, most likely. So not like a biblical name, but named after the former Prime Minister Ariel Sharon. Used to be a big general during the Six-Day War, and then the Yom Kippur. And when I was born in 1972, he was a big hero. And I think we were in my classroom, we were about, I think 8 of us named Sharon, and probably more Ariel. So it was a very difficult.
Confusing.
Yeah, very confusing. So,
Sit down, Sharon.
Yes, sit down. Sharon A, B, C, D, yeah.
You know, to me or most people that I know, they're not as familiar with even what an Israeli is. We're not even that familiar. I just know it's always in the news. Israel.
True.
But so Jewish is the religion, and correct. Israeli is the
nation.
The nation.
Whenever you read a story in the newspaper or see something on television about somebody getting arrested, you naturally assume they're guilty. Unless the story's about you or someone you love, then you'll think differently. And you'll want a lawyer who will defend you. My name's Scott Canavis. If you or someone you love has been charged with a crime, call me. I'll return your phone calls, I'll work on your case, and I will defend you.
And how did you get to Cleveland, Tennessee?
Oh, by complete coincidence. And I've been resident of state of Maryland for the last 17 years. And during COVID-19, I explored some investments because I looked into finding extended stay, as you actually described it, in a Republican state, not such as Maryland, with a little bit more of welcoming to investors and landlords. And I looked into old hotels, starting from Knoxville area, and I always like to be in a triangle state. So Chattanooga area is more of a triangle state between Alabama, Georgia, and Tennessee. So I looked into that, pointed to the map, and then started to make some phone calls. And this is how I got Mr. McCoy.
George, yeah.
George. And he's a wonderful man. He actually guided me into this town. And this is how I landed here, and I negotiated with the previous owner of the Econo Lodge, and turned it into the SF Cleveland Studios.
When was that built? In the 60s?
60s. It was late 60s. I know it from finding a lot of documents when I was there. And also I used the same sign company who placed the first sign. You know the sign?
Sign Tech?
Sign on Ocoee, like on Ocoee, there is...
Cherokee sign?
Yes, he is the one who built the original sign for even before Econo Lodge. And
well, who was the original owner? Do you remember?
I don't know even his name, but I know that Mr. Patali bought from the original owner.
Was that Bob? Is that his name?
Probably Bob.
Yeah.
Yes. And so I use the same company. And this is the beauty of this town. And I fall in love in Cleveland, which where I live, it is completely different. In a good way or a good way. I don't say one way or another is a bad way. It's just another beautiful way of a small town. People know each other and spend some time of more to say hello,
Yeah.
and not just like waving. So
Maryland's more standoffish or mind their own
Yes.
business type stuff.
yes, mind your own business, politically correct,
Yeah.
more a little bit that.
Now, how did you get to Maryland?
I decided after the Second Lebanon War with Israel, which apparently we are in the third one now. This is how long it took. From August 06, I made a decision to move to the US. So I took my wife and my 3 kids, and we decided to move. So when we had relatives living in Maryland, and that this was like an easier kind of way to
Were they
decide
close
what
relatives or just distant?
Yes. My wife's sisters, actually. So they were both here. So we wanted to stay a little bit close with the family. Sometimes it's good, sometimes
So
not.
you were born in Lebanon?
No. The war with Israel.
So you were
In
born in
Lebanon.
Israel?
Yes, born and raised all the way to my late 30s. And this is
How
where-
big is Israel?
Israel is like the size of New Jersey.
So not that big.
Not that big. Population and size of New Jersey.
Do the people in Israel, are they more like people in Maryland or more like people in Cleveland?
I would say more towards Cleveland. More of friendly and family oriented. So if you look at the Middle East, Israel is a little bit of isolated as the Jewish state for the Jewish people. And it's the only state in the world for the Jewish people. As I don't know, again, I know you mentioned that people in Cleveland are a little bit not sure if they know or what is Israel.
Yeah.
Israel was received independence from the United Nations back in 1948. After World War II, this was a home for the Jewish people after the Holocaust. And since then, we have experienced many conflicts, war zones between our neighbors, starting from the first war to the second to the third. Today, we are in our 20th combat.
Golly.
Yes.
Always,
within 48
always
years. So-
fighting.
So you don't have like a good 6 years.
Yeah,
and
right.
this is where you are. When my wife and I decided to move, we decided so that our kids will have a little bit different when they become 18, not have to go to the.
Yeah.
But fortunately, they have my both grown-ups already been serving the IDF as the mandatory, because when you're born in Israel, it's mandatory to serve 3 years, not a voluntary. So this is where
Do you think they'll join the military here?
me myself.
Your children?
Oh, they thought about it. Yes, it was just since they moved at the age of 11 from Israel to the U.S. I think it was kind of more than just the mandatory part. And since you already do 3 years mandatory, to add more than that, and then you become very far, in terms of education. It pushes your kind of timeline 3 years further down the road. So they both finished.
What'd you
school.
do? Sell everything and cash out and move here?
Yes.
Does
Simple as it is.
does Israel, they have dollars like we have, or what do they have?
Dollar is very common. We consider ourselves as the 51 state.
So you use
So we definitely more related to the United States versus to Europe.
So you own the property there,
Yes,
They
we
have
own
deeds?
property. Yes,
Just
we own
like we do.
properties just like here. Yeah.
and the government protects the sanctuary of deeds and properties and stuff.
Same like here.
So it wasn't that big of a shock coming
No.
here. Like,
No, not for us. We were pretty familiar with the system, a little bit with the language barrier, but over the years you come over.
do your kids still? Can they speak? Have they about forgotten their other language?
No, because we maintain to speak the Hebrew language at home since they went to public schools, and we wanted them to go to public schools and not to private schools.
Yeah.
And so their English is a mother language, and as well as the Hebrew as mother language. Actually, we speak at home three languages because we are also French speakers. So we definitely speak three language all the same time. Sometimes in the same sentence we speak the whole, one
like
word.
writing.
Yeah,
It's like
exactly.
printing and writing cursive.
Yes,
you do both.
You do both. So it's Hebrew is left to right, and English and French is right to left.
Oh
so
boy,
it's
that'd be
yeah.
confusing.
Yeah.
What was what did you study in Israel in school? What's your main profession?
So I started with some accounting
Mm-hmm.
as for CPA, but then I didn't like it, so I'm more like a self-taught. Whatever I did. I'm a good salesman. That's how I consider myself. So I did different type of businesses during my life, between retail and wholesale and construction and some real estate, and different type of consulting. And I work with people. This is what I consider myself, to work with people. Whoever I am, if there is a need for something, I would go ahead and study and try to move it forward. Yeah.
Are your parents still there?
Yes, my parents are there, and especially in these difficult days. I think last time we spoke, it was we didn't know how it's going to escalate in the northern border, because my parents still live in the northern side of Israel. So it is.
Is that close to the
Close, like it's about
Gaza Strip or whatever?
It's more so we're close to the north. Gaza Strip is the south. We're closer to the north. My son is a company commander, so he's right now in the northern border of Israel as we speak.
So he stayed.
He is reserved, a reservist. Yeah, so he went down there to help during this conflict, and since October 7, 2023. He's almost 200 days now as a reservist.
So he'll be getting out soon?
Hopefully, we are waiting for the high holidays. It's about starting the October 2nd. So we're hoping that by October 2nd, he will get released and come stay with us at least for the month. They were planning to come in October 16th. Since he got married. He got married last October. We did it during the war. And they were thinking to do a honeymoon. So we'll work.
Is he excited about maybe coming to the U.S.?
Oh, always. He's American. So for him, it's he just being here is home for him. Since he was 10 and a half, 11.
What do you consider is a home?
Home for me is United States.
But I mean, what do you consider is a home?
What do I consider?
Yeah, I mean, there's houses, but
no, home
home
for
is...
me is where I feel safe. Where I feel safe and where I feel connected. And for me today, after 17 years, I know that my homeland is always there. But for me, home is where my kids feel connected and right and related. So all of my 3 kids are here. And me and myself and my wife, we always have this kind of question: what are we going to do when we're going to get retired? Are we going to stay here? We say yes. So that's your home then. And I say, whenever you start dreaming in the language where you are at, this is where your home is. So because I used to translate what I ever want to communicate and say. So when you move from one place to another, you first translate and then speak. But today, I don't need. So I think in English, I dream in English. So for me, United States is home today. Of course, my homeland is Israel. In a way, if I need ever to go back somewhere, I will go to Israel. Yes.
But you think a home is where the heart is, where your family is, where your family feels safe and eating popcorn, watching TV at night, and that's home.
Exactly. This is home.
You live in Cleveland?
I live in Ulua, which is
This
side.
side?
On the other side, which is Snow Hill Road.
Oh yeah,
Snow Hill
that's
Road.
like that way, I guess.
There is some golf club community there.
Yeah, Hampton Hills?
Hampton
Yeah.
Creek.
I built a house there.
You did?
Yeah, boy, there's a lot of houses there, isn't
A
there?
lot of houses
Golly.
actually coming. Since I think there was a development right there. So right outside our community. When I arrived, it was like 2-3 houses there, and now look at them, like over 100.
I remember going there and eating at the one ice cream place in Ottawa. That's all there was: a gas station,
The gas
an ice cream
station.
place, and a church.
Everybody told me that when they, in our club, but nowadays there is the restaurant inside
Oh
the club.
yeah.
The clubhouse. There is a restaurant inside.
Oh yeah, at the Hampton
Very nice,
Creek.
at the Hampton Creek.
I've eaten in there.
Yes, very nice. You should come.
Are you a
next time.
golfer?
I'm not, because I want to be, but I'm thinking I need a little bit more time to work, and then. But this is where I think to retire.
Where do you grocery shop at?
We do at the Publix.
Over on 58 Highway?
No, we have the Publix right outside Snow Hill.
Oh yeah.
As soon as you exit 11.
Yeah, that's Crack Rogers' property. He always showed me.
Oh, there you go.
It used to be Crack Rogers' property.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So we do that, and we also have some. So since we have some food restrictions, I think we started this discussion.
Oh, you mean like no pork?
Like no pork, kosher, what we call the kosher food.
What's kosher mean?
So kosher means the type of animal, the way how it's been slaughtered and butchered in a way, and the way it's been brought to the table. So less harm to the animal, the way it is done. Of course, there is we will name it as a rabbi, but there is the person who it's a certificate person. He needs to be certified. That person who do the whole process. And then it's the type of the animal itself. So we only take
no cloven. Like no cloven hoof. I guess was the terminology.
Exactly. They're from the Bible.
Yeah.
And in terms of the C, it's the scale and tail. So this is what it needs to have. So it's basically the upper tier, if you think about it.
Yeah.
So it may be just because what they used to see.
Maybe.
That's about it. But this is what we do. But you'll be surprised. I was surprised that Trader Joe's, Exit 5, Trader Joe's has a large section of this kosher food. And meat and chicken and ground beef and whatever it is, it's right there.
What about kosher pickles? Are they kosher?
It's just the name.
Just the name.
I mean, there's nothing to be.
Because I eat them.
Yes, it's just a method of, I guess, like a Jewish mom, how to do it. So they named it. It's like a trademark. But there's not much to have. So kosher is like whatever is kind of stamped as K, like the letter K or the letter U in the United States. You see it a lot in Publix, in Trader Joe's, Costco.
So you can go to Publix and Costco and get.
Yes, and get what I need. Yeah, I don't need to travel too far. Of course, there are some probably in Atlanta, kosher places where they have. So restaurants we don't have.
So you wouldn't just eat a hamburger from McDonald's.
No, myself not, my family not. Yeah, some they just go different ways.
Would you be you'd have to be real hungry or what?
No,
Just wouldn't do it.
yeah, fish. Pretty easy. You go to a salmon, you have the fish burger. And if I stop on the road, I have the fish burger. I can do
Fish
it.
fillet. For McDonald's.
There is McDonald's. They have the fish.
Fish fillet. Well, they're good,
fish
aren't they?
Yes.
Have you ever eaten Captain D's fish sandwich?
Where is it?
Captain D's.
I don't know.
Well, they're good.
I don't know about.
Yeah, they're really good.
Many things I may not.
You got to eat a Captain D's fish fillet sandwich. Boy, they're good.
Where is it?
Right up the road.
Any place.
Any
like
place has a
D's.
Captain D's. Yeah.
Captain D's.
I mean, they got the French fries.
French fries and the fish.
Yeah.
That's all what I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we have some places up here, of course, in Cleveland. This is where, when I come here, I try to do because I split my time between Maryland and here, still work back in Maryland. And I like new friends like yourself and over
Gwen.
here, and Gwen.
How long does it take to drive to Maryland?
8.5 hours.
You know, I went to since I've talked to you, I went to Tucson, Arizona.
I heard yesterday you came back, yes.
I came back and what I discovered was if you're going about 10 and a half hour drive is about the equivalent to flying. It's just so much trouble. It's just so much trouble. You stand in a line, you stand in a line, you stand in a line.
And you have the going to the airport and
take
2
my
hours
shoes
before,
off,
an hour
take
before.
off my
yes,
belts.
Yes.
And you never know when they're going to say, you've...
So it's that, or let's say if I have a meeting, I can do back and forth in a flight to DC. So let's say if I have one meeting to attend, I can go and come back. So I do it in the same day, early morning, and then come back at 6 p.m., 7 p.m. So it's an hour and a half flight, not too crazy.
But you got to be there 2 hours ahead of time.
So here it depends. If you have the
You leave out of Chattanooga?
If you have the TSA.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Where you just walk on through.
You just walk through Chattanooga. If I come, let's say 30 minutes ahead, it's all what I need.
I noticed some people ahead of me had that TSA.
Yes.
But we were both sitting in the room about the same time. It didn't save them much time.
In Chattanooga, you don't really save
It's
time.
not a big
but
deal.
in DCA,
Yeah.
you do. You
So
definitely-
if you've got that TSA, you don't have to check your bags?
No, all what I do, well, since I have these 2 homes, to be honest, I don't check any bags.
Okay.
I have everything here
Yeah.
and I have everything there. So all what I need is to take my either briefcase and jump on a flight and come back.
Are you going to sell all your stuff in Maryland?
That's what I want, I guess. Just because of bureaucracy, I will tell you that. I think we're going to move more.
Do you have a plan to sell them, or are you going to sell them all at once?
One by one. We'll do it slowly.
That's a very hard process. You can sell it at the wrong time, and you can sell it too fast for taxes. You got to
Yes.
really think about
Yeah.
scaling down. It's a real...
But what you want is not to sell, is actually to replace. You want to
with a 1031 exchange or something.
1031 exchange, and then bring it here, invest it here in Cleveland.
How much do you do a 1031? Would you do a 1031 exchange on a $200,000 sale, or would it have to be $1 million plus?
No, you can do it on 100. Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's not. You don't have to do.
You would do it even if it was just
I would
100.
do it. Yeah.
Just do it.
Well, 100 is not a realistic.
Realistic.
Number.
It's more like 300.
But more like 400. Yeah. So it's definitely makes sense.
Because used to it was just people that were selling $10 million stuff, but now they've sort of reduced it to where if it's always a good deal if it's.
It's a good deal if you have a deal already here. So you just simply sell and buy within 30 days. And this is where you...
And you only have to, I think it's within 6 months if you identify it,
yes,
right?
once you identify,
Yeah.
yes.
You have to identify I've noticed some of these people, they will say you have to identify everything and have contracts, and then
No.
others will just say, just list it.
No.
So there's
List it,
not
exactly.
there's not a real cut and dry way to do it, is there?
No. I think it's pretty much kind of...
Loose?
Loose, a little bit,
That's
yeah.
what I'm thinking. I thought it was complicated.
No.
If you sell stocks, can you do a 1031 exchange
don't
for
know.
real estate? I wonder
I'm
what
a little bit conservative on that. I would not do stocks myself.
But if
I
you
do only
did, can
real
you
estate.
exchange? Can you sell stocks and buy?
I don't know, to be honest.
Because
I
it's
don't know about
investment, but it's not property. So I don't know if you can do that or not.
I think logically you can, no? Don't you think so?
It would be. I don't know if 1031 is investment. 1031 may be a real estate investment, but there may be another one that's stock related.
For a stock related,
Yeah, maybe. And maybe you have to buy other stocks. But boy, it gets confusing, doesn't it?
Oh, it does, but you do what you want to do eventually. But I will tell you something about why the United States is the greatest country in the world. For me, I'm telling you, you're born here, so you don't have to choose
Oh, let's choose.
or pick, or you can say bad words, whatever you want. I can't, because one thing I will tell you, I'm traveling a lot every year due to some projects that we have overseas, and different type of work, so between Africa and Europe and Middle East, and I can tell you that each time that I come back, I say, this is the greatest country in the world. With all the difficulties, with all the good and bad, the pros and cons, whatever you want to put down in any scale. The lower taxes, the unique way of how United States is as a capitalist, compared to all the neighborhood and even Canada or France or Israel, which is definitely the opposite. It's basically, the way I describe it is, your government tells you, you don't know how to do things, we will handle it for you. So pay us more taxes so that we can take care of your future, your present. Here, it's more like, we will take the minimum requirement, whatever it is today, 27%, and do whatever you want with yourself. Look at what happened in France.
Mm-hmm.
You pay over 60%.
What's the point?
What's the point? I mean, now even the new government that they have been formed, there was election. It took them 2 months to form a government because there is a big crisis over there between left and right. And one of the candidates, which got majority, he said, we want to take 80% from the higher income. 80%, I mean, think about it. Mm-hmm. Would you ever, this is completely the opposite of what we do here. Mm-hmm. So we trust the people before we take their rights. But we first trust. Mm-hmm. And this is something that does not exist in socialism, because they say, we know better how to take care of your life. Mm-hmm. Trust us. And that's why I think when I go to West Africa, to North Africa, to South Africa, to Middle Eastern countries, UAE and many other places, and Israel and France and Canada, and you see a way, you see the opportunities. And this is, it's not just a word, just a sentence. This is the land of opportunities. I look at myself, 17 years in the US. I could have done it in a certain way. You just need to wake up in the morning and work. Once you do that...
And
It's
I'm not
all
so
time.
sure that getting up and working is not better for you mentally anyway.
It is better
I mean, I don't know
any other way.
what else to do because
Exactly.
I mean,
Because
when
you
I went
yourself, you did the same.
when I went to Tucson, I couldn't wait to get back and get to work because you can't just keep doing that.
Yeah.
There's nothing to do. Do you think humans are made to feel like they have to do and to make things better and greater and invent and technology? Isn't that just in us to want to make? I mean, as a kids, we wanted a clubhouse. We wanted to make a fort. We wanted to do this. And so we're still doing that. It's just bigger things to do. It's just, there's really maybe no point, but it's just for mental health.
So I divide human beings to three categories. You have the ones who they have two hands and they work with two hands, which means 8 to 4, 9 to 5, whatever you name it. They come to work. They don't really come to develop something in this world. It's just enough to put food on the table as whatever it is. So not to think too much. And then the second group would be such a carpenter. So he create one item so he can make more than one salary. He can make maybe 2 or 3 or 4 even salaries a month because he created something and then sell it to you. So it's still his both hands. He needs to use them. But he create a value to take 2 items together and put it to a new development. And then you have the people who work with no hands. So it's only with their head. And this is what you describe like, when I say work, I mean think. So you can have all professionals working for you and you can have unlimited salaries. So these are the 3 groups. So it depends on what time in your life you belong maybe to the first group and then you move to the second and then you may move to the third. But some people get stuck in the first or the second. That's how I see the
So maybe it's the time in your life
time.
that
It's all about
that
time.
you need to be in each. Maybe you're more disturbed when you're in the wrong spot.
It's never a problem if you have, let's say, if I want to sell you this cup and at the store it will cost maybe 50 cents, but at the clubhouse it may cost $5, yes? So it's only location and time, where you are now. So if somebody doesn't want to buy it at the price you ask, you're in the wrong place and maybe in the wrong time. So it's just time. Consider time. Because look at us as kids, yes? We thought something is big, and when you grow up, it is small. So it's just time. When you say, for example, expensive or inexpensive, there is only a timeline that will change where it is. Because sometimes at the very beginning, it will be, let's say, if you earn only $1,000 a month, and something would be expensive, but if you earn $1,000 an hour, then it's inexpensive. So it's just where you are on the timeline of your life.
I use this analogy. Let's say that property you own. If it was $4 million, you could probably sell it to somebody in their 20s and they could probably come out. But if you're 95 and you're needing a hip replacement, it's not a good deal for you to buy that if it was $50. You'd be better off just to get a cup of coffee and watch TV and relax.
Exactly. So it's exactly what you just
It
said.
depends on, so an investment might have more to do with where a person's at in their life as to whether, I hate when people say, oh, that's a good deal. Well, it depends on where you're at in life.
Yes, exactly.
It may be a bad deal.
Yes.
Because
Why do I need it? Yes. If
Yeah.
I have only a few years left. So sometimes you do it for yourself, And I believe, like yourself, you don't need to do more things, but you continue to do. So let's say I wouldn't have to do what I do here in Cleveland, only if I want maybe to leave something as a legacy, maybe to leave something for your, your
Sure.
kids, grandkids, whatever it is. So you want to leave something behind you. And this is how I look. We like to look at back and forth and back and forth.
Yeah.
And the way I see it is, we became from 1 billion to 8 billion in a short amount of time, in less than 150 years. But to reach to 1 billion, it took us thousands of years. And I always ask myself, how come this knowledge that we started to acquire thanks to communication, a better communication, made ourselves grow in such a fast time from 1 billion to 8 billion as a population in this world, because we communicated about what caused diseases, what kind of knowledge. So you transfer something to your from an elder person to a younger person. So the same way we transfer, like you said, if it's a property to inherit. So he will start and he will do something better with his life, just instead of just surviving. So if he doesn't need to if my grandkid will not need to kind of spend many hours on surviving at the beginning, he might get to a greater himself, or maybe to invent something, or to do something for humanity.
Well, with all of America's good points, there is one thing. If you don't have money, they may give you a bowl of soup, but that's about it, unless there's a church or something. So
To help.
you have to have money here.
You
It's
do.
no fun without money.
I know it on myself.
I mean, it's tough. So,
I know
So
that-
maybe that's enough reason to work here in America. We got to.
I can give maybe some inspiration. I will tell you, and I'm not, afraid to say how we started. When I arrived here, I had $1,700 in my pocket. That's it. But if you need to wake up early, work. This is what you need to do. You have to parallel do two things. One is to survive. The other one is to invent, to do something better. But you have to work two jobs in the same day.
Bird in the hand, yeah.
One is your bread and butter. Whatever it is that you need to do, you do. And then you cannot say, I work 8 hours a day. You can't. This is not what will get you anywhere.
They'll eat you alive.
Exactly. You have to do something.
My
So
uncle used to say, security in one hand, opportunity in the other.
That's it. This is what I say.
Security 8 hours, opportunity in the other.
In the other, and you have to work another 8. And if it takes another, when I arrived here, I worked 20 hours a day. 20 hours every single day. If I sleep, I know I'm losing something.
What was your first job?
My first job, you will laugh. When I first arrived, I searched myself a little bit here. So when someone came to me and said, hey, can you paint a deck? I said, sure, I can.
Where were you living?
I was, when the first 90 days, I stayed with my in-laws. And then I moved to my first little apartment. And then when I brought my kids and my wife from Israel, because it took me 6 months to establish and get some paperwork done, and then bring them here and do it in the right way, not in the wrong way, because this is very important.
Yeah, very important.
And there is a right way.
Sure.
There is only one way.
Just
There is
follow
the
the
right way.
steps.
Follow the steps. You get there faster.
Yep.
Faster and much easier
Yeah.
and cheaper. So we did the first apartment, and then I moved to a house. So I went and rented a house for $3,600 a month because I wanted to be in the neighborhood where my kids can grow up, where they belong to some community where I want to see them. I said, I'm not going to move to the US and, go to certain neighborhoods where it's cheaper, but I didn't want to do that. So for me, the way I do business, I first set up and I said, this is my expenses. Now, how do I make it? I set my goals. Mm-hmm. This is the rent. This is what I need for a car. This is what I need for this. Now, what is it? 7,000, 8,000, 9,000. Now, how do I do this? And this is where I start to work.
So how did you make that much money being new here?
So I worked at I used to sell even eyeglasses, what you do, to elderly retirement homes via a doctor that I knew. And as I said, I'm a salesperson. So I went down and I knew how to talk to the right people and then do some sales over the weekend. And then I worked in a store during the days. And then I worked at some construction, even if it's to paint, to do a deck, to paint a deck, whatever it is. I'm a handyman as well. So for me, it was just nature to do. And then when Uber came along, I did Uber many hours. And when Uber worked out well, I bought the first car and I did some services like delegations arriving to the US, to the Israeli embassy, and then I started with them. And then it grew up to the second vehicle, to the third vehicle, to the armored vehicle. It's just one thing led to another. As long as you know how to say yes and set up your goals, you will reach. You will do it. My first armored vehicle was, I drove when the delegation of the president of Israel, the president, not the prime minister, arrived to the US. And they had some difficulties between would he get an armored vehicle or not from the State Department, yes, no, all this kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And I was there just watching that. And I said, if I will do it, I will get this business whenever they come. I talked to the guy who is in charge. And I said, what do you need? He said, this is my need, this is the specifications. I shook his hand and I said, 45 days from now, I'm going to get it. I took a loan. I went to Utah, to a mom and pop shop for build an armored vehicle there in Utah. I went down to Utah. I drove down to Utah. I put the car there. 45 days later, I had the car ready. And guess what? Another delegation arrived from Israel. I'm in Utah now, and inspecting the last items to finish the car. Uh-huh. And the embassy gives me a call and says, Sharon, do you have the armored vehicle ready for 3 days from now? We have the former Minister of Defense arriving to the US, and normally it's a requirement to be in an armored vehicle. And he said, how much would you charge me for 42 days? You know what I did? What? I took the invoice from the shop. I looked at the invoice. Uh-huh. I looked at that number and I just told him, this is what I need for 42 days. He said, you got it. I took up the phone and I paid this one in 42 days, the whole armory of the vehicle. Mm-hmm. And I worked every day, of course.
That was luck.
Expenses. There is no luck in life.
What do you call it?
Determination.
The harder you work, the luckier you get. The harder you work,
the luckier you get, yes. Because people see you, people feel you, mm-hmm. people hear you, people look at your eye. Mm-hmm. When they see you and they say, yes, he's a hard worker, I'm going to trust him, because what do you sell? Mm-hmm. You don't sell an item, you sell yourself. Mm-hmm. True? Mm-hmm. When people take a work from mm-hmm. you, who they work it from? They don't care about this. You have hundreds of competition. No. They want you to be there. And that's what it is.
They just think you'll take it off their plate.
They know that you will deliver.
Yeah.
And that's it. And they transfer what they don't know to do, they transfer it to you.
Right.
Yes. And if you need to subcontract 2 or 3, you will do it. But you know that you will deliver the job. And when you transfer that via communication, you don't have to speak the language.
Did you drive the armored vehicle more than that, more than the 42 days?
Oh, definitely. For many years.
Yeah.
Yes. And I bought different ones after that. And still ongoing business, the whole thing. Even though I'm sitting here, the business is working because we
So it's like a taxi cab for
delegations only.
For delegations.
Yes, yes.
So you're the guy they would call.
Yes,
your company.
I'm the guy. Not only from one embassy, just from different ones. Since it's a word of mouth, DC is like a very
It's
small
not like
place.
there's 100 people that do that.
Yes. Today, I have this sedan that there are not so many in the U.S. such cars, so you keep investing. Yes,
Yeah.
you keep investing. You make sure your business is growing. You don't really take the money out. You keep investing it, and as more as you keep investing, and then you have a broader fleet. Once you have a broader fleet, then you have, of course, the personnel, and then you grow your business to another aspect. Today we do security jobs. We do this. We have a lot of ongoing. But this is DC kind of world.
Yeah.
Not Cleveland.
Not Cleveland, Tennessee.
There's nobody here who needs an armored vehicle. I think.
There's a few, but they don't know
Maybe
it.
they don't. We don't. Yeah.
Does your wife work in Ottawa somewhere, or she help you with the business?
She helped me. Yes, she is my right hand. She is the accountant, and she knows more than because I know how to probably bring the work, but she knows how to do the books.
Did y'all meet in school? How does
No,
that work?
we met when she was 18 and I was 23. This is where a year later we got married when I was 23. I met her when I was 22.
Do you date in Israel?
Oh yeah, of course.
You ask girls out and say, would you like to go to the dance?
Yeah. Same as
Nothing here. It's
Same.
different.
Yeah, same. It's not as different. As I said, like we're very much. I know that some people doesn't know about Israel, but many actually do come visit and relate because of these. If you go to did you ever thought about traveling to Jerusalem or Nazareth? No, never.
Never.
Never like to leave or.
I just doesn't. I get jet lag. Do you get jet lag?
Well, I travel a lot, so for me, it's,
golly, how do you get over the jet lag?
you sleep during the flight. That's what you need to do.
So you'd have to get a first class ticket.
Or business, yeah. You can. It depends on the price.
Does business lean
Sometimes
back?
it's not worth it.
Does
yeah.
business lean back a little further?
Business becomes a bed. Not just.
So business is
Not
leaning.
like you have. I'm talking about overseas flight. Yes, in the U.S. it doesn't really.
I just can't hardly sit like this, and they'll say,
Sit straight,
coach is here.
yeah.
And business leans back this much.
No.
You know, I just can't.
Business in a 2-3 hours flight doesn't make any sense to me.
2.5 hours, you can.
You can.
It's
sit,
hard to
whatever.
sit like
yeah,
that.
but it's not good enough to because the business is not really business class.
Yeah.
So it's not really.
It's not worth $1,000.
Yeah,
It'd be
there's not-
worth 200,
Yes, maybe.
maybe 150.
Maybe. And it's not because you can't spend it. It's just not worth
It's
it.
just it's kind of stupid, really.
But when you spend 10 hours flight across the seas,
yeah.
then you definitely want to take the right. This is what I say worth it. I just got back from Nigeria, so it's a long flight because you fly to Europe and then from Europe to here. So it's a long flight.
How many time zones are there?
Total?
Yeah. Is there
Well,
like a lot?
think about
or
it like this. You have 24 time zones. Yes.
24 time
24-hour time zones. Time zones are basically from the north to the south pole, correct? if you look at the globe.
I know nothing about time zones.
So think about it like this. This is the globe,
Uh-huh.
yes, and stretch lines of time zones, yes? So you
Okay.
divide it by 24 full hours, yes?
Longitude and latitude? Or
Yes.
is that different?
This is it,
Okay,
yes. So you go
longitude.
longitude, and then after what they have decided, because you don't want to have in the same country 2 different time zones, correct? Sometimes it falls like because, let's say, if you go to Nashville, it's a different,
Yeah, it's a
an hour
different
difference,
time.
yes. But just because Tennessee goes wide, so most of the countries like United, so if you say +8 or +7 or +5, that's where we are, yes? So if you look at France, so they took the line and kind of kept the whole country in it. So this is how they divided time zones. But you have 24, but total, because some of them are like by half an hour. And some of them
half
by
an hour?
15 minutes even.
Golly,
So you have, I
that would
think,
really
a
mess
total
me
of
up.
like 34.
So some of them could be an hour and 15 minutes.
Hour
difference.
and 15, exactly.
Boy, that would really mess
that
me
would
up.
Yes. Just because of the where you are in the world.
Mm-hmm.
So, but this is how time zones are divided. Yes, but it's let's say the major ones
But
are 24.
but we as a species created time.
The time you created is only because
Is time an illusion?
no, the time is just to be more efficient during the day,
But
during
does-
daylight.
But does it really exist? I mean, I know age does, but does time? I mean, it's 7 o'clock.
No, it's not about the 6, 7, 8, or 9. This is just to organize your day between daylight, where you can do some stuff when you see something outside, versus night. This is how I would kind of describe it in a way, yes? So when you say it exists, it's just to be more efficient. Because if there is no time zone here, and you will wake up sometime, whatever it is, then you don't know when you wake up, when you go to sleep, when you eat, when you just do things. So it's the same as religion. It's a way of life. Think about it like this. It's just a way of life. I need to wake up at 6 a.m. every morning. The same as you say, I need to go to church every Sunday. What is Sunday? It's another day.
What's another, just a time, maybe an
It's time.
illusion.
Exactly. But you need some sort of a frame.
I agree that we need,
How would
just
you
like we
make-
need the calendar.
Yes, like a calendar, like a time.
Does Israel go on the same calendar as we do?
We have the Christian calendar, and we do have the Gregorian calendar, and then we have the
What's a Gregorian?
Gregorian calendar. This is where we are
Gregorian,
here today, yes. And then you have the Jewish calendar, which is parallel. So at the header of each letter, you will have the Hebrew naming, which is the Hebrew month and the Hebrew day, because we go by 30 days. The Hebrew goes by 30-day equal, yes? And then there is every 3.5 years, we add a month. Instead of having the 31 and 30 and this. So every 3.5 years, you have the 13th month. By the way, this is what used to be before. The 13th month.
Before
because
the
it's
Romans,
it's
before-
a lunar calendar. Yeah, so you go by month. You see how the moon goes from a full moon. So a full moon is the half of the month, and a half moon is where you see the beginning of the month. So a 30-day, if you count 30, 30, 30, we're missing few days every year, correct?
Yeah.
So every 3.5 years, we add another 30-day, and every, I think, 7 years, we, this is like you see, you have the 28th
Yeah.
comes every,
31,
yes,
leap year.
a leap year, exactly.
That's how we make up for it. I
You
guess.
make up
Yeah.
for the leap year. So it's just to organize the calendar, but calendar and organization. I mean, if you see what is bureaucracy, you know what bureaucracy is? Organization.
Organization, yeah.
Who was bureaucracy?
I think bureaucracy was a Greek.
Bureaucrat.
Maybe?
Yes.
Bureaucrat, yeah.
So bureaucrat. So he just named after. Okay, I think it's just so he created like how to organize files. The modern ones would be Bill Gates, who created Microsoft. Yes. And the Excel. What was his partner's name? Who created the Excel? This was his partner's name. I forgot his name. I don't know if you remember that. But maybe
I remember
someone
he
will
was on
Google it.
Big Bang Theory.
He was like, he was like, and
Yeah.
I remember the ad that they had when they launched it. And they said, we're going to change your life completely.
And they did.
And they definitely did.
What's the next thing? Will it be robots?
You're very close. I think it's not even. It's AI. It's already here. Artificial intelligence. Because if somebody, somebody asked me, and asked, not me, but I answered what Elon Musk answered. Because somebody asked him and they said, what do you think about 2024 election? He said, this is not what worries me. The 2028 with the AI, that's what worries me. Because you don't know who is in front of you. You don't know who is going to do the whole work and talking just in front of you. See, you don't know if it's existing today. You don't know if it's real. It's hard to know if it's AI.
In
or
5
if it's a
years,
real
we will
person.
not know what.
That's the danger.
Yeah.
That's the danger. I look at two things. I look at AI, and I also look at the cyber invasion to our vehicles today. You drive a vehicle today, it's a smart car, yes? There's a computer in the car. And I know that all the car makers consider it is the biggest issue if there is anybody who hack into that system, to their system, and simply do whatever they want with this vehicle, because this vehicle becomes a weapon. So
Yeah, they could hack into it and
it
do
becomes-
suicide missions.
Exactly. So these vehicles today running on the streets, they're all smart vehicles. I mean, the new ones, yes. So my fear is always, how soon will it take to bring us back 200 years ago?
What I wonder is, they've got these robots that can play basketball against each other. I mean, they move.
Or soldiers. They can be
And
soldiers.
they can put my personality or
on them.
into that AI,
And
have
you
it
can
my
play-
voice,
And you can play basketball.
and it can just come in here and do this for me.
Yeah. And this is one, you and me here. But what if it's the President of the United States?
Yeah, so you could bring your robot, and I bring my robot, and we
And
stay home and watch
and
TV.
we go to other things.
Yeah.
So this is when you say we can do something while we do that. So you can benefit yourself. That's
Yeah.
that's for the good, yes?
Yeah,
But there's always one evil that will think about bad.
yeah. My robot could shoot your robot.
Yes. And that's something that we
All
will...
that's coming, is it?
It's coming. There is no way. It's already in. It's just the time when we're going to say no more. And this is when I meant, how soon will we go back 200 years ago? How soon? It may take 50 years or it may take 5.
It's bizarre to think about it.
Yes.
They could have robots delivering your mail.
Maybe 5 years from now.
I wouldn't doubt that there'll be a time when you won't be able to drive a car on the road if it's not auto-driven.
It exists.
The insurance companies will say,
Will not say,
we're not
"You
going
can't-
to, we're not
we
going
can't
to
trust you anymore."
We're not going to trust you unless
Yeah.
you're driving an automatic.
We don't
vehicle.
trust you anymore.
Yeah.
Not the, yeah. Well, the big investments are there. You know, like Google, they invested in their car, the self-driven car. Tesla brought in. Tesla changed. Elon Musk made this world different with his vision, with his. He's a workaholic. You know, he.
I bought some of the stock.
Yeah,
It goes up today and down tomorrow, and up today and
It's
down
up to
tomorrow.
his.
But it's just
one
I
word,
didn't want to.
yes.
I didn't want to miss the bus if it was going to go anywhere.
Yes, I see a couple things. I think cryptocurrency
You
is the
can't mention.
new.
You can't mention cryptocurrency.
You can't.
We'll have
mention-
to edit that out, right, Gwen?
Oh, we can.
They won't.
They won't let you. Okay.
Don't know the reason.
I don't know.
Don't know.
But that's something that we will whenever. So we'll need to talk about it. But you look at this. You look at,
Are people? I keep referring to Israel, which you're as much here as I am, so I'm not downplaying that at all. But do people in Israel think forward just like me and you are? I mean, if you weren't from Israel and had a little different accent, I wouldn't know you was from there.
exactly.
Could I go down there and just eat lunch and nobody'd notice any difference? Or would they
Well,
say,
they
oh,
would
that
know
guy's
you're
from...
an American guy, but that's it. No, nothing
And there's
else.
some American guys there,
Oh,
right?
of course, yeah. Every day. I mean, all day long and everywhere.
You have
Because-
McDonald's?
Oh yeah, we have a lot of McDonald's and
For
Burger
peop-
King
Do they have, because...
and
do they
Pizza
have,
Hut and we have everything.
is it
I would
kosher?
I would tell you one thing.
Uh-huh.
If you go to the mall here or if you go to the mall there, you will feel no.
No difference. Is it
And
kosher?
many of the trademarks are in English as well.
Is it kosher pizzas?
Yes, you can get this and that.
So it'll
You can
say
get
kosher
both.
or not.
Yes, if it's kosher, it will most likely.
Like here, it's
say-
gluten-free or whatever.
Yeah,
the
whatever,
thing
like
is.
whatever trademark on it, and that's it. So it's kind of easier to get kosher food there
Yeah.
than not. But you know, there is like what I call the New York of Israel is Tel Aviv. You probably heard the name of this
yeah.
city. Tel Aviv it's more like New York, so you can see more of a worldwide 24/7 city.
Yeah.
It's you see it all, and this is the hub, the center of the the market, the business. Let's say it's the business capital. Yes, there's the political capital, which is Jerusalem, which was only recognized by former president. So I don't know if there is a way to say if it's okay. I don't know, but our previous president Donald Trump has finally recognized Jerusalem as the capital of the United States, and then he moved the embassy to Jerusalem. And many presidents did promise they wanted.
Yeah, he
but
did it, didn't he?
and he did it.
Yeah.
There's something that I like with him is that he said he would do things, regardless if you like it or
He
not.
did it.
He just did it,
He did it.
and that's what
There's only a few
that's
things
where
he
I
didn't
put
do.
my heart with.
Yeah.
Yes, you want to do things, you say, you do. You can't just be politically correct always.
Well, let me ask you this: how do you deal with banking here, being from another country? Is it tough?
Think about it like this. I have American passport. I'm an American citizen, and I do it exactly as you. So, and business banking is easier even than Israel. It's more, let's say, approachable. It's like a business here. It's more like a business and less bureaucracy, less paperwork.
Here
less,
is. They think
here
it'll
is.
work.
Yes, and here it's really advanced in a way in the business, yeah. And we are, since it's all been related, so if you make some gain in Israel or gain here, it's all connected.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so if you need to pay or to come up with the difference of taxes, so you You don't pay twice. You just pay whatever you need to pay. If you paid it here, you paid it here. The tax law is wherever you spend 181 days during the year, that's where you pay your taxes.
Oh.
That's worldwide. So if
Y'all
I
have
would,
y'all have a postal service there?
oh, I'm going to surprise you, but yes, yes, we have everything. Actually, post office is very good system. I would say, you know, you remind me when I first traveled to Morocco. I was thinking, and then people say, do they have stores over there? You know, like because it's a young country, Israel, 1948. But I would tell you that. In terms, it's the high-tech country. It's very advanced, and because also, remember when we started, we said about the conflicts that we had during this. So when you're against the wall, you invent. Iron Dome, where is it invented? In Israel. Yes. Capital of the U.S. helping to invent inventions inside Israel.
Necessity is the mother of invention, they say.
Exactly. Necessity is the mother of invention. Yeah. Exactly. So Israel has good minds because when you're against the wall, this is where you start to invent.
You have to.
You have to. You have to. You have to survive. So we got rockets and missiles all over. And then one person come and said, this is a solution. We'll create a dome.
Does that really work?
Oh, if this wouldn't work, October 7, they launched 3,000 missiles in 2 hours.
Nope.
99% of them has been, only few have been intercepted. So Iran launched 450 huge missiles and rockets to Israel only a month ago or 2 months ago. All been so you have today you have more than just Iron Dome.
What does it do? Shoot them down?
So it depends on how far it is. So if it's the closed version, this is Iron Dome. You have 3 layers of systems. So the first layer is the Iron Dome. Iron Dome would shoot the rocket within the atmosphere. Okay? So it will calculate where it's supposed to land. If it's an open land, they won't waste a missile on it. So we know where this rocket is going to land. If we know it's going to be in a populated area, then you just shoot another rocket that touch it and then blow it in the air.
What happens to the debris? Does it fall down?
So you calculate where to hit it above open areas.
Boy,
Yes.
that's so high tech.
It is. So just think, and it's all in seconds, yes? We're talking about, just so you understand, if there is a rocket launch from Gaza to the southern of Israel, you have literally 7 seconds to go hide, yes? So think about what the rocket needs to calculate within that time.
Yeah.
That's all what you got. You don't have 30 seconds to think. So only when it's further down to the, let's say, closer to the center, you got maybe 30 seconds or 45 seconds. And this is what Iron Dome does. So those launchers of Iron Dome. So the only problem is it costs money. But in the same time, one time I will show you a video of what it means. When you see it, you think you're in science fiction, yes? Star Wars, you know what Star Wars is?
Yeah.
Like, people go to work, yes, they sit in the coffee shop, and you see it in the skies. They kind of boom, 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 shoot each other. And then like boom, boom, interception of each other. And we're talking about dozens in the same time. And this is to give the people in Israel the ability to live.
Yeah.
The ability to live, to
It'd
survive.
still be a little nerve-wracking.
Yes, but you
got
got used to it. So you kind of go to work.
Yeah.
There's of course, the alarms and everything. Go and hide a little bit, but it doesn't. So you stop for a few seconds and then continue. And that's about it. From Lebanon, from Yemen, from Iran, from Iraq, from Syria. All these places shooting rockets on you. And we are at 99.8% success rate. Can you imagine?
That's unbelievable.
It's unbelievable. And this was a decision of one Minister of Defense that he had no clue of any like military experience or anything. I think it was the first or maybe the second Minister of Defense that they did take him from the military. Because most likely in Israel it will be like, if you were a general, then you are good for a Minister of Defense, or the Secretary of Defense, what we call here. And he was the guy who said, this is what we need. Because he thought not as a general, because the generals think, oh, we have peace, we have Air Force, we have Navy, we can do many things. He said, no.
Sometimes people that aren't involved,
they will be the right people to do the job.
That brings me to this point. You've bought that motel over there and done something great with it. While we all sit in Cleveland and just drove by it every day.
Every day.
Every day. We didn't see it. How much did you pay a lot? When did you buy that?
Can we say?
Where?
Can we say?
Yeah, sure. Oh, yeah.
So, no, this was I think for me it was a good buy, because when I come from Maryland, I couldn't buy that in Maryland.
I mean, what was it, 2 million or 3
million? It was
million?
about 2,
About
yes.
2.
And
Was it,
another
what,
1.2,
What was it
1.3.
doing then?
Practically nothing.
Was
Maybe
it,
10 rooms were really operating.
Were they
10 rooms out of 80
were the people
operating.
getting off the interstate, about 8 or 10 people, or were they long term?
Long term, I
Just
think. There's
junk.
When and you know what? To say for the good, because I kind of I purchased it without seeing it. So
That may be why you bought it, right?
Yes, maybe that's the reason I bought it. But I negotiated to say, you know what, Sharon, you buy land. That's what I thought.
But that would have still been a lot for there, $2 million.
Well, 2 million, I said, well, the main structure could be okay, but let's say all MEP, roofing.
Did it have galvanized piping?
No, this was, I had to change the whole MEP, mechanical, electrical, and plumbing, completely brand new. Joists, I had to change.
Floor joists. I've been in there before,
everything.
And I can't remember why, but it was rough.
I'm telling you.
It was rough.
When I removed the walls and the flooring that I had, and I looked at the joists, and I said, how? But I guess...
The carpet was the only thing holding it up.
Exactly. The carpet was the only, in a way, good thing. But when you take it off, you could vacuum the wood. That's how bad it was. But I had to change everything, because I said I'm going to open everything, put the new joists, put the new flooring, subfloor, do everything right one time, and then I can enjoy it for a few years. My goal is actually to take it down, the existing...
Well, how many rooms you have operating now?
Right now we have 86.
86.
86
How long?
units.
When did you buy it?
I bought it in December. I worked 6 months. So December, this was December. So basically, I started January 23, and in July it was already operative.
And you painted the whole outside?
Paint is the easy job.
Did you paint it yourself?
We did everything. I brought a crew.
I
brought a crew even from Maryland, some from here. And for MEPs, the people I knew from Maryland, but for the construction side, I brought a local guy. He had a crew, and we did it really fast.
Yeah, really quick.
So I got the whole, whatever I needed to knock down, I knocked down. And then I made the first 40 operating, and I opened the first 40.
How many?
It took me, I will tell, I was surprised, because July 1st, I started to lease, yes. By August 1st, I already had 27 tenants.
How much, what are they average staying there?
It's a year lease, but they're not really staying.
So you don't have it by the month,
No,
you don't pay
I have some mid-term and short-term.
but you don't pay,
But I created some of them, but
But you
only
don't-
15, 20.
sales tax if it's under 29 days, right? Is that the rule or something
Yeah,
like that?
like,
So you
like
don't-
Airbnb.
So you
or
don't have any of that, you're just,
We have some Airbnbs as a furnished units,
Yeah,
what we call
yeah.
them, yes. But I don't want to stay there. I want to be more on the long-term lease. It's just easier to,
the 1 year,
yeah, the 1 year.
how much they rent for by the year?
About the year, it's about $1,000 a month.
And so you have, what, a little kitchen?
It's a kitchenette. You have your full bath and some leaning walls for separation, between
And then a
like
bed?
dining level. Yeah, the bed. And
So they're
a fridge.
regular 12 by 24, 12 by 22?
Exactly. So it's 12 by 26.
Something.
Yeah, because it's a bit longer.
Or the pool, is
Some
the
of them
pool
are
still
short.
there?
Oh, the pool was there until I decided to have like a deck.
So it's no,
I built a deck inside with a fountain, so it's like more of a play area, like a seating with a barbecue, launchers. So it's kind of within the pool, like a bit of a.
is there a common
attractive
area?
place.
Used to, there was a little common
Yeah,
area.
so
that-
I took the whole main, like the center building, I turned it into a common area, conference room, playroom, office, and a full kitchen for everybody. So if they want to cook and spend some time there, they can reserve it even for a party. We do birthday parties,
So-
we do, for them. So they can reserve it for them own, like few hours during the evening. But also we have the laundry rooms. So it's, I looked at the laundromats all over the place, and I said, no, I'm going to give it a spot.
Unbelievable, what a,
So I did my own laundry rooms for each building, and they can use it freely as long as they want. So I didn't want to take, this is part of the common area fees.
yeah.
So we don't want to, we have a designated parking for each one of the units. This is really, I believe it's a solution for a problem. So if you are, the way I see it, sometimes, because I hear all the stories in the world, why they're here. But I believe it's a transition. It could be divorce, it could be lost work, whatever it is, downsize, upsize, whatever
Some
it takes.
people just don't want to spend a lot
That's
to
it.
where they live.
That's it. And that's enough.
Yeah.
For me, it's enough.
Yeah.
So if you want to spend 6 months, 8 months, 1 year, this is the place to be. And for me, it's a solution to whoever,
Let's just say it's an alternative.
Exactly.
After have you got them all now renovated?
We are at 85% occupancy rate.
But I mean, are they all renovated now?
Oh,
Everything's done.
yes.
Yeah, how much? I bet you ended up with a lot more in it than you gave. About the same,
About,
2.5 extra.
no, I would say less than 2. Less than 2, like 3.5 total. But it's still a good investment. I believe it's.
You have a little office there.
We have our office. We have 9 to 5 in-house secretary. We have our electrician on site. We have our superintendent, like the, like maintenance.
Is that how many units you have now?
86.
So you think with 86, it's important to have a one maintenance guy
Yes,
for
because
86 units?
It is. It's good enough because he is doing more than just that. So the way you improve, you do what you have to because you have people in and out already. Yes.
So you got turnovers.
Turnovers.
So you're
All my superintendents, they do everything.
And the electrician, will he do everything too?
Everything on site, yes.
If it needs done, they'll do it. So it's like 3 people.
We have 3. We have cleaners because we also have furnished units. So we have some short terms where they come and stay within 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, yes.
And some may
Short
want,
and mid-term.
some may want
And they
laundry
want
service.
cleaning, they want laundry service. So we have 2 cleaners, we have 1 secretary and a superintendent.
What does SF stand for?
That's my trade name. It's
SF?
Square, F-I-T, fit.
Square fit?
But not as a F-E-E-T, it's F-I-T.
Square fit.
Square fit.
So
you
that's a
fit
square.
yourself into the square you need.
Uh-huh.
So you need that little square. At this point, this is where we're going to fit all your belongings. That's the idea, square fit.
I'm always interested in how,
People come up with names.
yeah, and also how efficient people can live when they need to.
You will be surprised,
I mean, could you live
I
in
was
one-
shocked
Could you live in
to see
one?
what people, could I live? Good question. Maybe in our next session I will give you the answer.
I've got some small units like that.
I don't like, I could do it for a certain time, yes, but not because of I need more than a bed. I think it limits yourself in a way, because when you see yourself in such a little place, you kind of shut down a little bit. So I want people to move out and see it as a transition. So for a limited time, yes. But if not, you want to turn, you want to change, you want to do things. So when you have more responsibilities, you do more. And more responsibilities is more square footage. It's part of more responsibilities. When you have more bills to pay, you work more. When you work more, you do more. When you do more, you gain more. When you gain more, you develop. You do things.
Then you worry more.
Then you worry more, which is fine. We always say there are no problems, we have solutions, correct? This is the reason. This is what it is. It's not never a problem. I had an issue once. One of my tenants, they couldn't pay for, in Maryland, it takes like 6-7 months to get people out. And then, going to this, going to that, pay whatever it is. And I say always, this is my donation.
Yeah.
I spend every year a certain amount of donation. So sometimes it goes to, like yourself, you go to church, you put your donation. I go to synagogue, I put my donation, yes. But if today it's this person, so that's my donation.
That's the only way you can look at it, because you're not going to get it.
I'm not going to get it, so I have to choose at least a positive way to look at it. So I convince myself that this is it. But it's part of my budget, yes.
Yeah, it's a cost. If you don't think it is, you're not in the business.
Exactly.
And if somebody says they don't have it, they're lying.
Of course they have it. But it's either you move on and do better things, and that's it.
What's your hobby? Anything?
Me?
Yeah.
I like to read.
What do you read?
I like to read about history, most likely. So whatever it belongs to history, this is how I see the future.
I see you as a history guy, not a mystery guy.
Not a mystery. History.
UFOs or
No.
nothing.
I'm more of relate to whatever happened, so we can study from it. Because we just repeat, mistakes. We repeat.
The guy I had on here last week was the same way. He liked to study history to see the future.
To see the future. I believe this is the way.
You think history repeats, or does it just rhyme?
I don't think I know history repeats. You can see it. You can literally see it
Every time.
every time.
You can almost see it unfold.
Yes. If you live long enough, you probably could live both. Like cycles.
Yeah.
And it's a cycle. It's just a matter of how long our memory works. It's just about memory. If we had an unlimited memory, we would never repeat those mistakes. But it's the problem of how we repeat mistakes, because we just like to enjoy the moment sometimes, and that gives us like
You think this world's smaller than we realize or bigger?
that's a good one. I believe the world is bigger than what we can even think or use at this point. I don't think we use as much of this world the same way that we don't use our brain as much. You know, we use very little percentage of our brain cells.
I never knew how they could figure that out.
I don't, but it's probably because the limit between normal to genius is only 1% or 2%. That's all it takes to become genius. So think about it. If we all use just 1% more, and think about it as the world now, between the sea, we have 70% seas, yes. 80% seas, 70% seas, and then we have lands that we can expand and expand. We are growing, as we discussed, about 1 billion to 8 billion. In 60 years or 80 years from now, we will be probably at 14, 15 billion. And we will still survive here, yes? We will live here. We just need to know what to grow. And this is why my expeditions to Africa is to increase the fish production to this world, because I believe that fish is going to be the major
Well, there's a lot
protein.
there's a lot less fish than there used to be, right?
A lot less because of unfortunate, I mean, I don't know if I can say it, but it's definitely China is creating an ecologic disaster in Africa. They got those license, you know, to catch fish, and they
Unlimited.
catch unlimited, just because they build few roads and few buildings in Africa, and they got those licensing, and they do whatever they want because they need to feed their people. So they created a disaster in the ecological disaster. This was really, and we come here. When I go to Africa, I go and I believe in this triangle, the triangle of know-how, finance, and need. This is the tree. If you get the tree together, you just go to where it's needed. You take the money where it exists, and you take the know-how from where it exists. So this is what I do in my adventure in the world. And I try to connect people where they need, such as places in Africa where they have the need, and the know-how from Israel, and bringing the finance from the US. And this is where I am. This is what I do. I do this triangle all between embassies, relationship, going to their homeland, and create a relationship and do it. And for me, the hobby is what I do here in Cleveland, if you ask me.
Well, you're way over my head.
No, I think you're doing well here. You did well in this.
I'm happy.
You're happy. We're all happy. We need to be happy.
So you been to eat with George anymore? Did you just go with him that one day last week?
I do every time that I'm here.
Yeah.
We spoke actually a couple of days ago, and we are going tomorrow to another lunch. Yeah, we should have lunch tomorrow.
Where are you going with him tomorrow?
I tell him choose the time, choose the place, and I will be there. He's a wonderful guy. I love sitting with him.
He comes in here on Sunday mornings.
Sunday mornings?
Yeah.
Oh, he's the
when
coach.
he's not with his grandkids.
Okay.
The other morning I was back here and the door was unlocked and I didn't hear him come in. And
He came in?
He came in there and sat in that chair behind me.
Oh, okay.
And I just turned around and he scared me to death. I didn't know he was here.
He was here. But I'm traveling on Saturday to Maryland. We will do, we have the high holidays coming soon in October 2nd. High holidays, you know what they are?
Nope.
Yeah.
I've heard of
What do you
Let.
Like Kippur, Yom Kippur?
No, Let.
Let?
No, Let. That's Catholic. Isn't it?
No, that's not us.
Yeah.
So we have basically the New Year, celebrating the New Year in October 2nd, the Jewish New Year. And then 10 days later, there is the fasting day, the day that we fast. And then there is the...
You're not on that now, are you?
No. It's only one day. It's nothing. I
Oh,
wish we
yeah.
could have more than that. But this is so. I'm going to spend in Maryland where I see, like more of the community, and then we'll be back again. So I would love to enjoy your.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed.
Yeah. Let's do it again.
Let's do it again.
Sharon, I appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.